Welcome. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We're live once again. I hope you're having a great week so far. Thank you so much for joining me today. Looking forward to hanging out and talking shop with everybody. This is the live stream all about building a smart home. So we talk Apple Home and just smart home in general. And looking forward to it. We got a few things to discuss in the news. I'll answer some questions as well today. In the stream, as many as I can. But let's say hi to some folks as we kind of get going here. Let's see, who's Frederick? What's up, Frederick? Larry's in the house. Turin, good to see everybody. Trent, Lone Star Trent is here. Let's see, where's the crown at today? Top fans. So the YouTube started this new thing with the top fans. Oh, we got Turin is at #1 right now. Cool. So that's based on, I guess, the comments and engagement. Jack's Diner, what's up, Rhett? Jack's Diner here, ranking in the top, wearing the crown, I guess, a little bit. So that's cool. Cool to see everybody. Let's see, Steven, what's up, Steven? Peter, what's up, Peter? Thump Jimmy's here. Greg, what's up, Greg? From Phoenix, 114 degrees in Phoenix. Whew, that's rough. Actually cooled down a little bit here. We've had a lot of rain this week, so it's been kind of dark and gloomy, but definitely cooled things down a little bit, which was much needed. It has been extremely hot up until this week. So, yeah, Frederick, we are doing the members only stream. So later on, after this normal live stream, we'll do our monthly members hangout stream over in Discord. So if you're a channel member, I said we have a number of channel members here. If you guys want, if you're free, come over to Discord this about 30 minutes after our regular live stream here, and we do a little video chat over there in Discord. Always a lot of fun. We do that on the first Wednesday of every month. And speaking of members, welcome the Vicious, Enema, and Douglas Griffith joined from the stream here. Thank you guys for joining and supporting the channel, becoming a member. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all of the channel members. Mark is here in the house. I wish YouTube would sort the basics, like being able to at people with the iOS app. Yeah, I hear that. Maybe we could take some of that feedback to them. So that's, yeah, for sure. Get the booze ready today. Classic Zero, Brian, what's up, Brian? Louisiana has been hot and humid, wet mess. Yeah, that's the that's about like it's been here. It's just been so hot. We went down to, I think I talked about it last week, but we went down to Mount Pleasant, which is right near Charleston, for almost a week, and it was just unbelievably hot. It was brutal the whole time. Enjoyed it, had a great time, sat by the beach a little bit. But yeah, so hot. Sorry, let me got this weird pop-up going on over here. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Beautiful weather in Cyprus. Zane, what's up, Zane? Timothy, I appreciate you. Timothy says, thanks for all the videos. I appreciate that. Appreciate you watching. Great channel, excellent Discord. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, man, guys, check out the Discord if you're a channel member. Somebody was just asking over there, like, dude, do you ever check your email? And I have a hard time keeping up with like emails and stuff like that. And just all the social media messages that are kind of always coming through. So Discord is definitely, I go there every day. You can reach out to me directly in Discord. So definitely join. Also, as a member, you get access to early access to new videos most of the time. So I try to put out new videos a little bit early for channel members. Also, sometimes I'll do behind the scenes videos, which I did just post one in case you missed it. There was a new, I just did kind of an update on the garage project. So I've been asked about that a number of times. So just posted a little behind the scenes update on the garage project. I am making a full video on that. Been in the works, you could say, and hopefully that's going to come by the end of this month. But in the meantime, posted that little update for the channel members. Dylan, what's up, Dylan? Glad you could make it here. Hope you're doing well. Check out Dylan's YouTube channel as well. Holland Tech. Wife had a dream about winning the SC lottery, so we got our friends here to send us one. Nice. Nice. Holland Tech won $5 with the lottery. Hey, that's $5. That's enough for a channel membership. Just saying. Garage is coming along nicely. Thank you, Ben. Trent says, I think the shapes you have would go in that space. Yeah, man, I've been this week has been dedicated honestly to the garage. There's so many things I still want to do, and I was like, all right, I got to spend some time. So like every day I've been spending some time in the garage trying to get that I guess video ready so I can share it on YouTube. Phantom Platypus, glad you can make it here today. So let's jump into a couple things I want to talk about. A few things I saw in the news, and then we'll do some questions later on in the stream. The last half of the stream, I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. But a couple things that I noticed. Let's get my screen share up here. This popped up recently, so a little update possibly coming to Apple Home. Something called adaptive temperature, maybe. So this is, stuff that's just being found like in code in the betas and things like that. All the betas and stuff are going on right now, developer betas and things. But this, let's see, again, this is not public, but this is stuff that was found in the code. So I wanted to share this and kind of get your thoughts on it. So it's basically tying in more integration into maps. So they're saying this features additional benefits of maps, new capabilities. It seems could be features like this new adaptive temperature. So essentially learning your habits and things like that when you're home, when you're away, and adjusting the temperature in your HomeKit smart home based on that. Interesting. We have adaptive lighting, which, adjusts lighting based on the sun, and adaptive temperature could adjust automatically for you. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Would you use adaptive temperature if this is a thing that comes? I know personally, I'm always a little terrified of temperature-based automations just because I live with other people, and that's the one thing I've noticed. If you get it wrong, there's like zero forgiveness when, especially when it's 100 degrees outside and an automation, thinks you're away or whatever the case might be, and the house is 80 degrees inside. So I don't know. Do you guys use temperature automations at all? I would like to use it. I think if we had more of like a regular schedule in my house where we left for the day, 9 to 5, we're at work, at school and stuff like that, and then we come home, that would make a little more sense for me personally, but our schedule is just so sporadic. I'm working at home. My wife works at home like half the time, and we just don't really have a regular schedule. So for us, it doesn't really make much sense. It's kind of hard to get those temperature automations down, but I don't know, maybe with a adaptive temperature feature, I don't know, maybe it would work better. What do you guys think? Let's check out the comments. Do you think companies like EcoB would block this because it's not part of their subscription thing? Well, that's an interesting thought. I guess the companies could always, I don't know. I don't know. We just don't know much about this at all, and if it's even going to be a thing. But I suppose if it's anything like adaptive lighting, it would be up to the manufacturers to enable the feature or not. So I suppose they certainly could. And we do know that EcoB, unfortunately, is known to put things behind a paywall, which is one of the things I don't like about EcoB. To clarify, I do like EcoB. I use the EcoB thermostats, and everything that I need, I can get without their subscription. But a lot of the features, especially for the security and system and stuff like that, they put behind the paywall, which I'm not a huge fan of. Yeah, Cebro Kelly asked if I'm in any Discord servers. I do not use Discord much at all, except for my server. I have been involved in some Discord servers in the past, and just was not honestly a huge fan, so I don't really use it a lot. But my server, I go in there every day. I love my server because I don't know, it's all good. It's all cool people, I guess. Everybody's great and helpful in there. But I don't really use it a ton outside of my server that we have set up for the channel members. Turin does not use any temperature automations. Yeah, you're in the South. Save your money in the winter and keep your thermostat on 68. So we got some questions. I'll try to save the questions and come back to them. That's only for people with seasons. Yeah. I like it. We don't have much of a winter here, that's for sure. Dane says, I use temperature automations just to turn on fans, lower shades, and turn on AC if the house gets above 85 when I'm not home. That's nice. Yeah, that's good. Like I said, I pretty much keep our thermostat on all the time, so I don't do that part, but I do use the others, like you mentioned, fans, shades. I actually talked about some of those in a recent video. So yeah, I definitely love that. And man, I was surprised at adding smart shades, how much cooler it actually keeps the house. I didn't think it would make that much of a difference because I had like Venetian blinds. I thought that did a decent job at blocking some of the heat, but the blackout roller shades have really done a good job at blocking out the heat. Juan, oh, appreciate that. Says the Discord server rocks. Yep, and it's all because you guys, all you channel members are friggin' awesome over there. Appreciate it. All the support and help, and everybody's really great there. North Carolina in the house. What's up, Remington, North Carolina? I lived in North Carolina for many years of my life, off and on, growing up. Holland Tech is using the Nest thermostat through Starling. Schedule set up to keep the temperature where we like it. Once I get some blind tilts, I'll have those automated with the thermostats. Nice. Okay, so some of you guys are using some temperature automations with your thermostats specifically. Some are not. Okay. Dude, I want those shades you have. Yeah, the zebra shades from Brignox are the ones that I recently installed. So there's a video on that one. Yeah, they've really made a difference. I honestly, I didn't know how much I would like the look of them because I've never used zebra shades. I was really hoping I would. I thought I would, and I do. But it turns out really love the look of them, and man, they really do just keep the heat out. Because that side of the house especially just gets blasted with sunlight, so it's been really good. Next up, a couple things to discuss real quick. Let me see if you guys can see this. So we talk a lot about Aqara on the channel, and they recently had a new Aqara doorbell, the G410, which was an updated version of their last G4 video doorbell. I really like the thing. I made a video about it and showed all the pros and cons and stuff that I saw. Definitely an improvement over the last one, in my opinion, specifically for my use case. I think for a lot of people's, they improved the resolution and the field of view, which that field of view was pretty significant for me. And like if I were to use it on my front door and a lot of front doors, just because of you can see more. So the last one for me would cut off everybody's heads in the live feed. Anyways, the new one has some improvements, but there were some people that had some complaints about certain things. One is that people were complaining about high temperature alerts. I haven't experienced this yet myself, but and anyways, where I'm going with this is Aqara is addressing these issues already, which is really nice. But the high temperature alerts was one of the issues I guess some people were complaining about. And then the other issue was just the overexposure. And that is something that I mentioned in my video as, you know, maybe one of the downsides, I guess, is that it is a bit overexposed, like in the sky. For me, everywhere that I used it and tested it and installed it, it looked really good because it was under a shaded porch. but the exposure was not great. And I said something about I wish you could kind of manually adjust that. And they're addressing these issues, which one of the things I really like about Aqara, they listen to the community and make changes. So that's what, that's why it's great to just be fully honest, I think, in these like types of review videos and stuff. But they're listening to everybody that had comments, just like they did with the Aqara G5 video camera, which is a great camera. Did have some drawbacks when it first launched, and they addressed all of the things that all of my downsides pretty much immediately or pretty soon after the launch. So same thing here. But here's the symptom. It says in high dynamic range scenarios, extremely bright areas appear overexposed or lack detail. That is basically what I was seeing like in the background of my videos past the porch. And let's see, we are evaluating the feasibility of implementing manual brightness control for enhanced customization. So the optimization of the two issues will be included in version 4.3.6, scheduled for release in early August. And I do believe some people are already receiving that update. So Ben says, loving that they hear us and make changes. ONVIF would be great for the G410. Yeah, I don't know if... that's okay. That's a good point. I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. I guess the G410 doesn't support ONVIF, but maybe they'll add that because they did add that to the G5 Pro camera after the initial launch. That was one of the things that I said actually in the G5 video was I wish they had ONVIF support. Maybe they'll add that also to this one. I know they did release the G410, the doorbell, with RTSP support, which I thought was great because they didn't do that with the G5. So I thought that was a big downside. So I'm glad that they released it with the doorbell with RTSP support. But yeah, maybe they'll add ONVIF. We'll keep telling them, and then maybe they'll listen. Did you set up a shopping list in Dashboard and Home Assistant so the family can use it as a form when they need something? Nope, I have not done that. Juan says, how's Aqara's privacy and security? It would make me a bit nervous to have cameras pointing at the patio where the kids play if it's not very private and safe. As with any smart home device that you use, there are some things you may have to sacrifice. There is always a potential of, security issues. From what I know, there's never been any big issues with Aqara and security in the past. Their cameras are end-to-end encrypted. You could also use these and do local recording directly on an SD card. You can also record through Home Kit's Home Kit Secure Video, which is all end-to-end encrypted as well. So, I think they're secure as you'll get. Again, they have not had any issues in like the public, as far as I know, with security or privacy, flaws or anything like that. So, and speaking of, let's see, I'm gonna read through some of these comments here. Yeah, Frederick, I agree there. Speaking of privacy, I'm going to jump around a little bit since we're just talking about privacy to some of the other things that I wanted to mention. Speaking of privacy and doorbells, actually, it's a good transition here. Check this out. There's a couple articles here we can pull up. Ring reintroduces video sharing with police. So this here is on The Verge. This was published July 18th, 2025. Yeah. All right, so let's just talk about this real quick. Ring is owned by Amazon. I'm not the biggest fan of Amazon or Ring devices personally, largely because of their history with security issues and privacy. But this here says Ring has once again started letting police request footage from users. Okay, so you may or may not recall a couple years ago, not that long ago, this was a big thing, right? So basically, law enforcement could request access to your cameras, to your Ring cameras, and they did away with that. Amazon did away with that feature or ability, whatever you want to call it, last year, I think it was. I think it was in 2024, based on customer pushback. Well, looks like they're back at it again. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I could rant, but Ben says, sorry, Ring, I'll share what I want when I want. I agree with that. Yep, Lone Star Trent says Amazon will hand over your videos without a warrant. Yeah, so I'm gonna read this other article over here a little bit too. So the Ring founder, is back at the helm of the surveillance doorbell company, and with him is the surveillance first, privacy last approach that made Ring one of the most maligned tech devices. Not only is the company reintroducing new versions of old features which would allow police to request footage directly from Ring users, it's also introducing a new feature that would allow police to request live stream access to people's home security devices. Now, people put these Ring cameras all over the place, not just on the doorbell. They put them all over the house, inside the house. Yeah. It's crazy. So Ring is rolling back many of the reforms it's made in the last few years by easing police access to footage from millions of homes in the United States. This is a grave threat to civil liberties in the United States. Couldn't agree more. And they give examples of how police have used Ring footage to spy on people and protesters and obtain footage without warrants and without the consent of users and all this kind of stuff in the past. Just a nightmare. So that's why I don't use Ring cameras. Let's see. Remington says no thank you, and they had not learned from the last time. Yeah, apparently, because it seemed like they were pushing back. I mean, they did push back because a lot of the customers were voicing their concerns, and it seems like they took away a lot of that. I don't know, not cool. And it's one of the things I like about Home Kit, and I've always liked about Home Kit, is that it's local first essentially. So I'm checking in the comments here. Holland Tech says, I'm always happy to share video with police. I did a few years ago actually, but it should be the video owner's choice. It's not the same as letting National Grid have access to my thermostat. Yeah, I mean, I agree completely regarding the camera stuff. Not saying I wouldn't share my footage with the police, but that should be my call 100%. I definitely don't want anybody having access without coming to me first, or a warrant, or whatever the case may be. They shouldn't be able to just go in there and access it, especially live feeds. I don't know. It's crazy stuff. All right, I see some questions coming in. I'm going to get to those in just a minute. We'll start rolling with the questions. I have a couple more things. Went on my little Amazon rant there, so I'll back off of that. A couple of new products I noticed popped up in the past week or so, or at least that I noticed. SwitchBot now has a floor lamp, which I have not used many. I've used a lot of SwitchBot products, but surprisingly not really many smart lighting products. So they have a new floor lamp. This isn't particularly innovative. There's a lot of companies that make these, I guess. SwitchBot does typically make really innovative products that kind of gets me excited to try out new things. Nothing super exciting about this. Looks like just a basic floor lamp, and I guess they do have an RGBIC WW version for $90. Is that the same thing? I guess it's, I don't know, that's kind of strange. It looks like they got two versions for just a few bucks more. Maybe you can get the one with the dedicated white chip, so I would go with that. But it is Matter over Wi-Fi, so nice to see some direct Matter integrations. You're not going to need a SwitchBot hub or anything like that for this. But yeah, interesting to see them kind of go this route. Looking forward to seeing what else SwitchBot does, if they're going to do more lighting products. Hopefully some exciting stuff. I saw that floor lamp and light strip Matter. Yep, Matter over Wi-Fi. Yeah, good point, Trent. Talking about the sidewalk feature, going back to the Amazon stuff. That was another thing I really didn't like about Amazon and Ring. That sidewalk feature. Carlos says, I just got my new SwitchBot Lock Ultra with Vision Pro. The lock is incredible. Facial scanning is really bad. Oh, interesting. Hoping a firmware update fixes that. The facial recognition seemed to work pretty well for me. I took mine down during the whole garage remodel because I had to paint the door and stuff. But when I was using it, the facial recognition worked good for me. I've noticed personally, like, facial recognition is really cool. But I also have a facial recognition, or a lock with facial recognition support on my front door, another one by Whatley. And as cool as the feature is, sometimes it is helpful, but I don't know. It's always just like a hair slower. Even when it works well, it's just a hair slower than just using my fingerprint. So I've gotten to where I just use my thumbprint for, even with the Whatley lock. It's just, I don't know, it's just faster, I feel like. But that might just be me. I know some people really like the face. It is a super cool feature. Another thing, speaking of locks, that it looks like came out, and I've been kind of watching this because I do like the Ultralock products. So Ultralock, made by UTech. They have the Ultralock Bolt NFC now available. So this is their version that supports Apple HomeKey, if you like HomeKey. The one I've been using and still am using is this one right here, the Bolt Fingerprint. So both of these support HomeKit. This is the one I've been using for a while now. Really like it. They just released this version, which is the NFC. Unfortunately, you can't have fingerprint and HomeKey on this lock. So I guess you get to choose. I found that I do kind of usually just use one or the other. I probably would go with the fingerprint because I like using fingerprint more. And they got some more coming soon. So coming soon, they've got the Matter over Thread and Wi-Fi version coming, which will have a fingerprint scanner on it. I could see myself maybe upgrading to that one. Then they also have the Bolt Mission. So this is one that we tested out a little bit at CES in January. So this one supports ultra wideband. Unlock your doors like never before with the Ultralock Bolt Mission, the world's first deadbolt with ultra wideband and NFC technology. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think this is going to support Apple Home or Matter when this comes out, and this might still be a while before we see this one, but I am looking forward to seeing I think that ultra wideband in this version is going to be just within the, yeah, see, yeah, so the Bolt Mission won't have that HomeKit support, but it does say Matter support. But I don't think it's going to be the same as the HomeKit's ultra wideband unlocking when that comes out. We're still waiting for that feature to really to be implemented by someone, or maybe by HomeKit. I'm not sure, by Apple. Looking into the comments, yeah, EcoB is definitely killing it when it comes to smart lighting, Matter products, smart lighting with Matter support. EcoB is hard to beat. They've got a lot of them out there. All right, we'll start doing some questions now. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it. I've got some saved. I'm going to jump to these. Yeah, that is a good point right there, John. If fingerprints, if your hand is not wet or have good fingers, fingerprints. I don't ever have any issues with mine, but yeah, if your hands are wet, just, you'll want to dry it off. They won't work well if you have really wet fingers. Oh man, congratulations, Carlos. Dude, that's awesome. Just found out I'm having my first kid. Your nursery remake was great inspiration. I can't wait to build my smart nursery. Man, that's awesome, dude. Congratulations again. I just had a grandkid, so that makes me feel old. Yeah, we've had a baby around lately. We got our 20-year-old son had a kid, and yeah, man, it's cool. Like that nursery video that I made, that was a while ago. That was probably 2 years ago, because the kid, we're really good friends with the family where I did that video at. Their daughter actually ended up having the same birthday as me, but she just turned 2. And yeah, man, she's been using that, like, especially that smart crib was so cool. She's been using that smart crib to this day, and I think they're going to pass that on to our grandkid. So yeah, cool stuff. I always said, like, man, I wish I was into this smart home stuff back when I've had my kids, because I would have definitely set up some automations and stuff like that for those late night feedings and all that kind of stuff, and temperature, like all kinds of stuff you can do with the baby. So that's awesome, man. I hope you have fun with that. Let's see if we got some questions here. Okay. James says, I understand that you use a Bode as your security system. My system chirps once about every 30 seconds, and I can't figure out how to turn it off. Can't tell if there is a battery issue or not. I don't recall. I'd have to search into that. I don't recall ever having that issue. Maybe, let's see, once every 30 seconds. I wonder if, has the outlet or the power, how long has it been doing that for one? It sounds like that may be the issue when you lose power, because there's a battery backup if you have the same one that I have. So maybe that's like when it's running off a battery backup, you get that little chirp to let you know. It sounds like that might be, I don't know, that sounds like something I've experienced in the past, like when the power's out. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Juan says, I have a standing desk. What would be a clever way to detect if a given day I was using the standing position? I would love to automate a reminder to stand up once a day. There's probably a few ways you could do it. Let's see. How would you guys do this? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure some people have got some crazy ideas already. Thank you. Raise and DJ says the system will chirp regarding a Bode if something is low on battery. Okay, so that's good to know. Yeah, must not have, I guess I don't know that I've ever had to change any of my sensor batteries yet. So yeah, contact sensor or something. Yeah, but yeah, contact sensor. Back to the desk, standing desk. That's what I was thinking too. Contact sensor. Most at my home. Oh man, glad you could make it here. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day at my home. Yeah, I was just thinking a contact sensor maybe for your standing desk. So most of the standing desks have like the legs, you know, that kind of extends out and goes within or whatever, the bigger part. So you could put a little contact sensor on the back side of that, of the standing of the leg, that will extend. And then when the contact sensor breaks, you'll know that you've raised the desk. And then you could create automations based on that. That's probably the easiest way to go. Okay, Juan says console is what I thought, but not sure how to pull that off. You know, you would have to do a reminder. That would be kind of tricky because you can't really send reminders with Apple Home natively, or even Home shortcuts. So, you could do trying to think of the best way to do that. Or yeah, get an Apple Watch. Good point. It'll remind you to stand. Yeah, iOS shortcuts is your best bet. Yeah, that's another thing. But I'm still trying to think of how you can use shortcuts to get that notification, or not to get the notification, but to check the sensor state. So, I mean, I would use, like if it was me doing it, I would probably use like a virtual button. But if you're just using Apple Home, you won't have the ability to do that. Basically a dummy switch that you could use. And that would be like, you know, the desk, like just a dummy switch that said I've stood up today or whatever, and turn it on every time the contact sensor breaks. And then you could check, then you can have automations that check at different times during the day, like did, you know, at so-and-so at 2 p.m., if the dummy switch is off still, send me a notification. Yo, you need to stand up. That's probably what I would do, but if you don't have the ability to create dummy switches, that'll be difficult. You can just use a regular smart plug and just put it somewhere, you know, and not really use it, but just use it virtually and create that dummy switch. That might be a way to go. Yeah, so that's, I'm having a hard time thinking of a way to do it without using dummy switches. Edgar, what's up, Edgar's in the house? Glad you could make it. All good, man. Thanks for stopping by. Check out Edgar's channel as well if you guys want to see some more good smart home content. Trent celebrates 36 months of membership. Thank you so much, Lone Star Trent. I appreciate the support. Says Topo is moving their energy devices to Matter 1.3 energy reporting. So maybe we'll see that in Apple Home at some point. Yeah, I mean, I think at some point we'll see energy monitoring for sure. It seems like Apple's trying to put a big focus on that. We're waiting on those updates. So yeah, hopefully we'll see that. Also, I noticed the SwitchBot humidifier, I think it was, is also being updated, or was recently updated to Matter 1.4, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, maybe some energy reporting in the near future. Let's see. All right, cool. I'm gonna just like stop for a second and send out some gifted memberships because it looks like this is working now. So let's see if that worked. All right, cool. We just gifted out 5 memberships. I feel like that option was not there last couple weeks, so we could do that. So if few of you guys got gifted memberships today, you have basically a month trial of being a channel member, so you get early access to new videos. You can join that member Discord. All the things that come with being a member you have access to for the next month, and then you can renew or not, but we'd love to have you stick around if so. How long does the smart bulb How long does a smart bulb will last compared to a regular LED light bulb? I'm worried that the software will be obsolete in a few years' time. You talking about like just the lifespan of a smart light? I mean, they use LED technology, so I mean, it should be good to go. I think. I mean, it really just depends on the brand. I think I don't really use smart bulbs, but I've used like certain light strips and stuff like that that have lasted me like 5 years, probably longer. I haven't really been in this house that much longer building smart home stuff or using smart home stuff too long. So as long as the devices you get supports the certain protocols or ecosystems that you want, you should be good to go, especially with Apple Home. Like we hear about some of the companies dropping support for things, like what just happened with Wemo. We talked about that a week or two ago. So, that's the good thing about Apple Home is that even if that happens with some kind of, I mean, Wemo is a pretty big brand, so that's, kind of unfortunate. But even if something like that happens with Wemo or with any brand, your HomeKit devices will still work within HomeKit, again, because it's all local and it doesn't require that cloud communication. So again, another reason to use Apple Home, in my opinion. Yep, exactly. Lone Star Trent said it there. They'll still work in Apple Home, even if they go out of business. Thank you, Frederick. Yeah, if you are a channel member or a new member, to get access to that Discord server, you need to just link your YouTube account in Discord. So in your Discord user settings, just go to connections and you can link your YouTube account there and gain access. Thank you, Frederick. I don't reboot my network very often. I hate doing that. That's usually one of the last things I do just because I have so many smart home devices. Usually, if I'm having issues with HomeKit stuff, a simple reboot of my HomeKit hubs usually does the trick if it's like a HomeKit issue. So that's usually the first thing I'll do if I'm having like issues with a lot of HomeKit devices. That's also kind of a benefit of using multiple ecosystems. So I am running Home Assistant and Homey, and a lot of times you can tell if it's a HomeKit issue because the devices, or maybe even in the manufacturer's app, if the device is working in the other app or other ecosystems but not HomeKit, it's usually a HomeKit issue. Restart your HomeKit hub, and that typically does the trick for me. All right, I think we got some more questions over here. Curious Sam, speaking of Home Assistant, no, I have not subscribed to Home Assistant Cloud. Has anyone managed to bring Linkind spotlights into HomeKit using their Bluetooth hub via Homebridge or Home Assistant? I have not used any of the Bluetooth, Linkind Bluetooth devices. I've only used a few of their Matter devices, so I can't say. I don't know if anybody else has used those or not. Saw 11104 says, have you noticed that within Convert to Shortcut, Apple Intelligence is an option, but with no available actions yet? Maybe a hint at possibilities of the new Sally and HomePad. Maybe. I think there are some actions available, I think, on the Mac. I haven't really played around with this at all, with the new shortcut actions with Apple Intelligence, but I think there are some actions on the Mac. So maybe that's just the thing, is that it's not something that's carrying over to like iOS, but it is available on the Mac. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to more of that and playing around. I've been staying away from the betas personally until very recently. I did update some of my Apple TVs like just the past week or so. Yeah, that was the whole thing. There's a reason why I typically stay away from betas. That's that's all I'm going to say there. Harold, I'd say just in a nutshell, I mean, this could be a whole hour-long conversation, but in a nutshell, Homebridge, look at Homebridge as just a bridge to bridge all your non-HomeKit devices into HomeKit. That's it, just kind of a bridge. There's a little more you can do with it, but essentially that's it. Home Assistant is a whole platform ecosystem. So you can create automations. You can also bridge devices into HomeKit and just so much else you can do with Home Assistant. So that's kind of the difference in how I look at it. Hey, Pom Kit, what's going on? Glad you could join in live and pop in the stream. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was wishing that I didn't update my Apple TVs the other day. Frederick says, talking about how YouTube picks the gifted memberships. I was told actually that it is based on engagement. I don't know. It seems to have done that too before in the past. I always thought it was just totally random, but supposedly it is based on engagement with the channel. So I don't know. That's what I'm told. Let's see if we got some more questions. Larry, what's up, Larry? Sorry, a little delayed getting to your question. Hope you're still here. It says, in your garage video, you mentioned the Tailwind is coming out with a new garage door opener. If you have any more details, you can tell us. Differences, price, release date. Not much I can tell you, but I can... Let's see. I think it's on their website. If I can remember what it is. I feel like we brought this up like last week or something too, but all I can say, I think they are still selling the original one, but this here is the new one, so you could pre-order. They've got the smart garage door and gate controller and the smart garage door controller. So let's just look through it. It can control one door and works with all known garage door openers. What's new? Here we go. Digital control simplifies installation and enables direct communication with many modern openers with just 2 connections. So you won't even need to use an extra door sensor like you do with most garage doors or smart garage door openers. So that's pretty cool. Read and report obstruction sensor data directly from the safety sensors. Makes connecting the wires easier and more reliable with pass-through wiring. And optional PoE upgrade board available. Ooh, I might have to do that because I actually have, if you remember in the video, in that behind the scenes video, if you watch that, I actually have an Ethernet drop right next to my garage door opener that I don't think I'm going to have to use for anything else. I actually put that there for, I was thinking I might put an access point in there just to have good Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi has actually been pretty good in the garage, so I don't think I'm going to need to do that. So I might just connect my garage door opener to it for ultimate reliability. Looks like simpler installation, more powerful, so amazing new features coming. So if you do, yeah, okay, so that's the same as before. So some people will need the door sensor, some people won't, depending on your garage door. But yeah, those are some of the updates, looks like. That's all we know right now, but I'm looking forward to trying that. I've been very happy with the Tailwind garage door opener that I have. No need to upgrade, really, but I'd like to check it out. I'm sure some of you guys want to know more about it. So once it's available, I'll try to get my hands on it. lip sync issues. Oh, sorry. I've got a good connection. I don't think it's my end. What's up, Hair Riot? Glad you could make it. Happy Wednesday from the lake house. Nice. Sorry to hear you're having issues. Maybe try watching the replay. If there was, my connection is showing good, so I don't think it's on my end. Is everybody else having issues, or are we good to go now? Yeah, sometimes a refresh maybe will fix the problem. Yeah, the gate option. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to look into the Tailwind stuff some more. I don't have a gate, I don't think, that I can use this on. But it's basically the same information that it's showing on the garage door and gate controller. But yeah, we'll definitely check it out. I'll keep my eye on that stuff. Definitely sync issues. Well, everybody try a refresh or restart YouTube. Refresh did it for me. Closing the app. Okay, thanks guys. I don't know where that came from. Maybe it is on a software side on my end. But looks like we've got some fixes. All right, appreciate it, guys. Is there a way to put Apple TV in sleep mode via Home Kit without using Homebridge or something similar? So you could probably use a shortcut. I don't know if that would solve the problem or be a good solution for you. But if you use a personal shortcut, you can basically use like the remote actions and you can sleep your Apple TV. So you can do that from your phone or whatever. You just can't include that in your smart home automations, but personal shortcuts and personal automations, you can do that. So maybe that would solve that for you. I did not get a release update on the Bulldog gate lock. I don't know when that's coming. So we talked about that a little bit before. I'm not sure if I can find the website on that. I did a short video on that. There seemed to be a lot of interest on that device because I think really it's because there's nothing like it out there. Supports Matter. I think it was Matter over Thread, wasn't it? Yeah, Matter over Thread. Yes, we need more shortcut integration with Apple Home. I agree. So this is the pre-production. So pre-production version is coming soon. So excited to hear they are going to move forward with this. They ran a Kickstarter that didn't meet their goal, but it looks like they are going to move forward with this. This is the outdoor gate lock. Will support Matter, all the major smart home ecosystems. There's a little video here on the website, I think with the owner. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that because, like I said, there's nothing like it that I know of, and I think a lot of people would be interested in that. So, maybe I'll get a pre-production version and can test it out. I don't know. I assume if they're talking about sending out pre-production models, it's still going to be a little while before it's available to the public. But Mitchell, what's up, Mitchell? Glad you could hang out and stop by the stream today. Yeah, that's a fact, Frederick. Would not be a live stream if there was not technical issues. That's a fact. I don't think this time it's anything that I did. Usually it's something that I mess up, but I don't think I did anything this time. So it seems like half the people had some audio issues, half didn't. Refreshes work. So we're going to just blame it on YouTube today. Oh, Kickstarter said October. Yeah, but I don't know if we can count on that since they didn't meet their goal. I'm not sure, but I'll try to get some more information. I'll keep my eye out on that one for sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out and chilling today. I appreciate it. Welcome new channel members if you just recently joined, and for everybody else, thanks for hanging out. We are doing that members hangout today, the first Wednesday of every month over on Discord. So if you're a channel member, pop over there in about 30 minutes if you're watching this live, and I'll be there. We'll hang out for a little while longer and chat about smart home stuff and everything else. All right, I'm going to try to publish 2 new videos before the end of this week. So also turn on notifications if you don't have those on and you want to make sure you see new videos. We got some more coming soon. A lot of exciting stuff coming. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you, and we'll talk later. God bless.